Hi cuties, have you ever thought to yourself while watching my channel, god damn, every time I hear this beautiful man speak, his voice is coded and backed by such wonderful music and the outro is always smack-a-lackin'? Well, my friends, that's because it's from the Katamari games. Yep, and that's the topic of today's video. Growing up, these games comforted me, gave me hours of fun, and scared the living shit out of me. So, I'd like to briefly go through the history of them with y'all if you would give me the floor. To get it all started, we need to lay the foundation, right? This game was super close to not even being made in the fucking first place. The director, Keita Takahashi, I hope I said that right, please, detailed his experience trying to pitch the game as his first project to Bandai Namco, who was just Namco at the time, by the way. But anyways, he was brash and unapologetically roasting the fuck out of Namco's game selection at the time and actually failed his job interview. An artist actually had to persuade the higher-ups to give the silly motherfucker a chance. And oh boy, I am glad that they did, bitch. Katamari Damacy, which means clump spirit, by the way, was developed in only a year and a half and was actually a school project made through Namco's Institute for Game Development. They cooked up this unique-ass game for under $1 million V-Bucks too, like damn! When originally shown off at events like E3 and such, apparently the crowd was so let down by it being a Japan-only release, they decided, fuck it, let's bless Jack the Ripper's 4-year-old self and give him a North American release which will shape his brain and way of thinking permanently. Now, let's get to the actual game, okay? Katamari Damacy finally released in 2004 to incredible reception. Duh, bitch, the game is amazing. The basic gameplay formula is you are a little prince fella, and your dad, the king of all cosmos, is this grandiose, weird, and honestly just creepy as shit ass man who accidentally deleted the universe, so now it's naturally up to you to roll things up in a ball and fix it. There's also a side story with this cute little family, and you check up on them as the prince continues to do his thing, but at the end of the day, the story is not the star here, okay? So let's talk about what this game does so well. It's just so fucking good, man. I don't know. Alright, the soundtrack should probably be the first order of business. I mean, oh my god. There is a reason why these games' music is in every single one of my videos damn near. Even if you never plan on checking these games out, just please, for the love of Glob, search a few of the tracks up and shed a couple tears. Alright? It's super jazz inspired with so many fun original songs with famous J-pop singers and even some songs being a cappella with beatboxing and shit too, man. Just go do your listens, alright? The basic gameplay formula is, like I said, basic, but it works super fucking well, alright? You have a certain amount of time to get your Katamari big enough to satisfy the king, making sure you start off by picking up things smaller than the Katamari, ultimately getting to the point where you can start going fucking buck wild and scooping up entire buildings and islands and shit. Certain levels have you focus on speed, others focus on time, and special ones focus on certain objects like animals or what have you. The art style for the Katamari games are so timeless and allow for it to be played and appreciated probably until I die, bitch. The controls actually use the 2 thumbsticks, so if you want to go up, you gotta push both up. If you want to go back, you gotta pull them back, etc, etc. And it really is that simple, yet it allows for such player freedom, giving them the option to explore the level however they please, and even lets you ignore the king's jibber jabber in the beginning, which could lead to some funny giggle haha dialogue. Speaking of ignoring the king, this is when this beautiful, wholesome, cute, kid-friendly game could end up scarring a little Timothy for life, okay? If you, for whatever reason, end up not fulfilling the wish of your Papa Bear, this motherfucker will scold you so bad and turn the screen dark and black and just mutilate your shit, which made little Jack the Ripper poop his britches and stop playing the game for quite a while. The most ironic thing about this is obviously the game is presented in a cutesy poopsy way, so when this switch up occurs, it's the most jarring shit ever. However, fun fact, the game's director has said in recent interviews that the game wasn't really meant to be this feel-good type shit anyway, but that's just how some people took it, and so he rolled with it. Get it? Sorry. I do believe there is a lot of good lessons to be learned from this silly-ass game, though. It is honestly a great celebration of Japanese culture and showed me a lot of items, places, or whatever that I wasn't accustomed to seeing as a filthy, stinky American kid who used to eat his boogers, bitch. But most importantly, the game was just about having fun. It's a super easy pick-up-and-play title that I recommend for anybody, which allows your brain to just shut off for a bit, laugh at the humorous dialogue, which is secretly very dark, and roll things in a fucking ball, okay? The game sold pretty well, and wasn't even a full-price video game, so good on them for that. This leads us to the sequel, which is my overall favorite in the entire franchise. We love Katamari. Yes, we do. Apparently, Takahashi, the director of the first, doesn't like sequels and originally was like, fuck y'all, I'm not doing that shit. and Namco basically said, hey big bro, we moving on with or without you pimp, so he decided fuck it and laced up the game developer boots one more time. Side note, can we all just observe these cover arts real quick? Just let's get a few oohs and ahs going. I mean, I want to consume these box arts, like I need them in my stomach. We Love Katamari dropped a year later in 2005 thanks to more money from Namco to develop it and also 30 more employees, which is always great. The reason why I love this one so much is I feel it added the most creative levels and also had the best overall soundtrack. It even added multiplayer, which I still haven't played to this day, so if any of you guys want to come to my house and play on my CRT television with me, my address is 327 Dick and Balls Lane. I'm sorry, y'all. We Love Katamari's plot is really funny because it actually revolves around everyone in the game being such big fans of Katamari Damacy, and the prince's goal is to deliver them the fan service that they desperately crave. Takahashi hated sequels originally, and so he settled for a non-traditional one that breaks the fourth wall a lot and has the fans in-game refer to the fact that they're in a video game. Despite not having his heart in the sequel, it did not show at all, bro, because the game improves upon Katamari Damacy in every way by having more diverse levels, a longer playing time, bonus challenges after you complete certain levels for the first time, and a slightly better story which delves into the king's backstory. In my honest-to-God correct Ripper opinion, We Love Katamari is the best game in the franchise, and sadly, it would be Takahashi's last. He made one more game for Namco titled Nobi Nobi Boy, which I still need to play, but he decided to leave Namco because he felt like they were a so-so company at that point, and also he wanted to build a playground and spend more time with his wife. I mean, that's so fucking wholesome, dude. What the fuck? Back to Katamari, though. They kept it rolling without him, and dropped Me and My Katamari. This is one of my favorite PSP games of all time. Now, you're probably thinking, Ripper, you stated earlier that the game was played with 2 thumbsticks. How could they have possibly translated the game's formula to the PlayStation Portable, which is famous for having one shitty analog stick? They used the faceplate buttons, bitch. Now, I had the pleasure of playing it on a PS Vita, and simply mapped the buttons to the right stick, and voila, it's a remastered title all of a sudden. This game actually has you creating islands instead of stars, and has this adorable tropical theme going on, which is super stylish and swagalicious. Fun fact, this was actually the last title to be exclusively on a PlayStation console, as the next game, Beautiful Katamari, was surprisingly on Xbox 360 exclusively. Apparently, there were some technical problems developing the game for PS3. Who would have thunk, right? Dog shit ass console. And astonishingly, Beautiful Katamari dropped only on Xbox 360 in 2007. I believe this is a very underrated title in the franchise, seeing as how, at this point, a lot of people were getting sick of the lack of reinvention with the games, and if I remember correctly, a lot of the levels were just slightly bigger versions of one another with very little changes in between. However, the multiplayer was really cool because it actually allowed for 2 people to roll Katamaris together, which was a big change compared to the previous game's multiplayer, which had 2 players sharing one. And that's about it. Now, listen guys, I'm not delving into every single one of these weird-ass mobile ports they made for these games because I'm simply not gonna dig through lost media dark web files to try and fucking emulate these weird-ass experiences, alright? But I felt like they deserved a slight nod, so here you are, okay? You are acknowledged. This is all of them. Let's move on. Katamari Forever. Very seldom do we see a greatest hits compilation in the video game genre. And I'm not talking about shit like game compilations where we get trilogies or what have you. I'm talking special games that are developed simply to celebrate a franchise in one big package. I mean, the game in Japan was literally called Katamari Tribute. But that's exactly what we got here. Almost none of the levels in this game are new, and a lot of the tracks are remixed with electronic versions to signify the Robo King plot of the game. Half of this game you play in black and white, and your goal is to restore color back to the world and the king's memory, with the other half being played by Robo King, who destroys all the stars in the sky. Listen, I know it's weird as shit, okay? Just play it for yourself, please. I forgot to mention too, in a silly turn of events, this game is PS3 exclusive. This franchise is so fucking weird, dog. The critical reception for each new title in the franchise was all starting to aggregate around that mixed area, with a lot of people thinking these games were simply missing the point of the originals and proving Takahashi right about companies just trying to milk a series so much to the point where they become stale. So, with that in mind, what did Bandai Namco decide to do? Make another game for the PlayStation Vita. Touch My Katamari. Fun Ripper fact, I just discovered this game's existence like 3 weeks ago, and I'm halfway through it right now, and I think that's where I'm gonna stop. It's not the worst title in the world, but It simply is just another copy and pasted Katamari game with not that much going for it. I love the control scheme, which utilizes the stretching of the Katamari by rubbing on the back of the Vita, but other than that, man, just go play some of the others, seriously. The Katamari series is the perfect example of one where its peak was in the first two releases, and everything else after was simply trying to chase that same high. While I find things to enjoy in all these games, nothing can beat the first two, bitch! And because of that, the first two actually got a beautiful, wonderful remaster package with HD graphics and beautiful 60 frames per second. I beg and plead anyone to give these a go, especially when they're on sale because they're usually like $5 to $10, bro. I'd like to point out some of the games that were inspired by Katamari as well if you're a big fan of the games like me and need some more Katamari crack to smoke. Donut County is a silly little indie game which I'd say is like the opposite of Katamari, where instead of rolling things up, you're sucking them up into a donut hole. The story is chaotic as fuck and it's on like every single platform including mobile, so you have no excuse, bitch. I'd be remiss to exclude a title Keita Takahashi made under the same publisher, Annapurna, titled Watam or Watam? I don't know, dog. Okay, but I mean, look at this art style. Like, yeah, this motherfucker made Katamari, alright? It's adorable. I just purchased this game myself on Steam for $5 buckarooski, so maybe expect a 60-second Jack the Ripper YouTube Shorts review of it coming soon, motherfudgers. There's a few other games like De Blob and even the wonderful End of the World, but just like a Katamari, I've got to stop the rolling eventually. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a goal in mind for this video. I honestly just wanted to vent about one of my favorite franchises, which gave me some of my patented silliness and some of my favorite cherished memories gaming. I highly recommend you checking out any of these titles, especially if you got some little ones or if you simply just feel the need to game like a child again. Before I wrap up, I'd like to take a quick moment real quick and talk about my sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. No, just play. Nah, but for real, as I'm recording this, I'm about to hit 300 subs, or maybe I might have already hit that motherfucker because y'all are blessing me so quickly, and I appreciate you, especially if you made it to the end here. Thank you for dropping likes. Thank you for giving me sub sandwiches. I got hella more videos on the way. I'm always cooking up YouTube shorts if y'all are interested. But yeah, drop a Katamari on the like button, swallow up the subscribe, and I love you guys. Enjoy the patented Katamari outro. Bye!